Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I wanted to talk about drawing challenges, art creator challenges, and how that presents a challenge. And what I've done is I've come up with sort of a numerical system. You can create your own, but I want to explain to you why some art challenges are much more difficult than others, why it's not just you. Sometimes it's how the challenge is presented, and how I'm able to do this. I went through my list. I have done artist creator challenges back to back every single month for the last 20 months in a row without taking a break, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So what I've done, and I have a couple empties in case there are things you think of that I haven't thought of. When it comes to artist challenges, what are the main points, the main ideas, and what everything equals a point value system, because once you see it, you're going to be like, oh, that makes perfect sense. So what I've done is all these are worth 1 point each. So for example, days. Can you do a drawing challenge every single day for the month, 31 days? Would you have time to do it every other day instead, every third day, so you're doing 10 days out of the month, or just once a week? Know yourself. Know how much time you have. With that, do you have time? Is this a timed challenge? Some challenges require hours of time. Let's just be for real and realistic. I'm spending hours a day sometimes on some of these drawing challenges. Sometimes it goes over 3 hours. So if you don't have 3 hours a day, and that is very unrealistic for many folks, I absolutely hear you, doing 30 minutes a day or 15 minutes or just 5. Sometimes 5 is enough. I have done that in the past. 5 minutes a day just to practice and know that I'm still working and creating and being creative, and it feels so good. So if I'm doing a challenge every single day and I'm timing it, it would be worth 2 points. If I'm doing a challenge and it's under calling it Sketchtember, and I'm doing it in the month of September, every day for 30 minutes, it's 3 points. If I am then picking a theme, if I am doing Sketchtember of mermaids every day for 30 minutes, that's 4 things. If there is not a personal imposed restriction on the mediums used, some challenges ask for specific mediums. That is loosening up. I've been doing these for off and on for over 5 years now. So in the beginning, World Watercolor Month was only watercolor. Now it's paints, acrylics, gouache, Inktober, which is probably the most well-known artist challenge. I will link a video on my thoughts about that challenge. Originally, that was ink only. So it was ink, it was a prompt list, it was every single day. That's 3 points. You take something like Huevember, which is every single day or every other day. I've seen it proposed as both. So it's days. It's a general theme. It's Huevember. They're telling you what colors you have to use, and sometimes there's a prompt list associated with that, and that's 4. So the more points it's worth, the more restrictive it becomes, and the more challenging it becomes. How do I follow the prompt list while doing it every single day or every other day with a new color every single time? And maybe there is even a subject matter with this prompt list, like Disney. Then it's worth 5. And it becomes more difficult. So if you are doing creator artist challenges and it's just too overwhelming, check your days, check your time, and remove prompt lists. Have it be 2 things or 3 things only. Scale down this sort of arbitrary point system that I've kind of created. Yeah, you want to do mermaid. Do it once a week. Maybe for 5 minutes. Drop the prompt lists. If you're doing something that is specific to the medium type and you don't like the medium you're using, drop it. drop it and keep going and move on with what you do want. Now, maybe all of this is too easy. Maybe you need a challenge. So you're going to try and combine all of these. It's watercolor only. It's, you know, very specific colors every day. I'm doing it for 30 minutes a day. I'm going to make sure to do the prompt list. I'm going to pick a theme, and you want it to be all 7. But maybe that's just too much. And you want to work on very specific goals. Short term, I want to get better at drawing eyes. Long term, I want to get better at portrait drawing. Pick a theme and designate some amount of time to it. Or maybe this is just a hobby for you and this is just too much. Artist creator challenges can just be too much in general. And maybe it's just creating every other day for 5 minutes. I want to show you what I've done. I listed all the drawing challenges I did in 2021, back to back, and then 2022. And I assigned, using this system that I just made up, I assigned a numerical value of, I did it every single day. It was the theme of mermaid. I did not follow the prompts. I didn't do anything. I decided what materials, and some of these World Watercolor Month. So for World Watercolor Month in 2021, it was days, it was the general theme, it was the materials, and I followed the prompt list. So there was 4. Animaugust and Smogust, I did 2 general ideas. I did animals and I did dragons every day, and then it's the subject matter is restricted. So it was animals and dragons only. But there were two general ideas. So it became 4. And then you see like Sketchtember. I just decided to sketch every day. That's it. It's the theme and it's the days. I didn't add any prompts to that, any sort of restricted material to that. Nothing. I didn't, pick a specific color. There was nothing assigned to a bunch of these. So when I look at my list, the number of 2s I did was 5. 3s were 2, 4s were 2. When we look at 2022, animal portraits. It's just something I did every day, and it's just a theme I picked. Figure drawings and portraits, 2. March of the Robots was 4. I went in real hard with that one because I was doing endangered species. So it was this, it was the subject matter, it was the general idea, it was the days, and then it was the prompt list, which I followed loosely. Now, some prompt lists are much harder than others. When we go through my entire list, for 9 months of this year, I only had 2s. I had 1 3 and 2 4s. So when you look at something, World Watercolor Month, again, there's a lot to that. March of the Robots, there was a lot to that. And then Drawloween, I followed a prompt list. I make it as easy on myself as possible to incorporate the things I am interested in, and I just do it every day. I don't add the prompt list. For most of these, there's no prompts. I'm not letting somebody dictate what materials I use. I restrict my materials if I choose to do so. So I can have things like a 2. Sketchtember is always going to be a 2. And some years it looks like this. This is an A4 Midori where I just drew every single day animals, and sometimes it was just pencil. I decided what I wanted in there. Or Sketchtember for this year, all the materials. Vellum, stickers, ink, watercolor, all the material. I decide. And when it's broad like that, you can pick and you can narrow it down and you can make it easier on yourself. Now, some prompt lists are specific. If you are doing a prompt list and it's, for example, December, which I've done 2 years in a row now, I choose the birds. I pick the theme, yes, and I do it every day, but I don't let somebody tell me what materials I can use, and I don't let somebody tell me what bird I can draw, because it's going to be very specific. If it says flamingo day 1, you don't have a lot of options versus a prompt list that's more abstract and says something like in flight. If you were doing a drawing challenge and the first prompt is in flight, you could literally be drawing a bird, a space station, a kid jumping on a trampoline, it's much more abstract. So before you choose specific prompt lists, take a look at those, see how many days you can actually put towards it, how much time you have, and look at all the different restrictions, because that makes it much, much harder. So if you're doing Inktober and you're like, this is super, super hard, Inktober's every day with a prompt list restricting your materials. And it's a general theme, so it's 4. Maybe scale it back. Scale it back, drop the prompt list. I hope this helps. I hope this shows you how I go about doing my creative challenges. And I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.